Alright, Shalom. This is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. And it reads, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." Verse 9, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy sons, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. All right, now I want to go into a lesson on the Sabbath day being based on the new moon. All right, you have to keep in mind that in the ancient world, we didn't have the Gregorian calendar. All right, we determined months and days by the moon or the lunar cycle. Okay. As a matter of fact, as a disclaimer, let's go to Colossians, the 2nd chapter. So this is Colossians 2. And I'm going to start at (16). All right, and it reads, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days." All right, and what that means is that if you believe that the Sabbath falls on the Friday to Saturday, we're not going to judge you per se for that. All right, but this lesson is for edification's sake. All right, because in the ancient world, you have to remember when the Lord gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments during the time of Exodus, when we were in the wilderness, how did we determine the days, the months, the years? All right, they were determined by the lunar cycle. All right, and the new moon is the first day of the month. All right, and it's also treated as a Sabbath. Okay, so let's go to the blue letter, and this is Psalms 81 and 3, and it reads, "Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day." Now, we're going to get this word for new moon. All right. And it is Chodesh. All right. Chodesh. And it reads, "The new moon, monthly, the first day of the month, the lunar month." All right. It says, Strong's definition, new moon, by implication, a month, new month, or new moon. All right. Now, the Gesenius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon reads, "The new moon, the day of the new moon, the calends of a lunar month, which was a festival of the ancient Hebrews." So the new month, all right, the new moon was the signal of the new month, all right, and that was considered a Sabbath as well. All right, and how do we know that? Let's get a precept. I'll grab it in the blue letter. All right, this is Amos chapter 8. I believe it's 8. All right, bear with me. I believe it's 8 and Salakia. So this is Amos 8 and 5. I'll start at 4. And it reads, "Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit." Now, this is very important because new moon and Sabbath are used interchangeably, meaning they serve the same purpose. So when the Israelites were saying this, all right, during the time of Amos, all right, they understood that the new moon, all right, and the Sabbath were treated the same way, meaning they didn't sell, all right. That's why they said the new moon be gone that we may sell, all right. Because again, when you go back to Exodus, the law on the Sabbath, you were not to buy or sell, okay. So let me see, I had an article up, so let me see. So I want to go to this breakdown from John Gill's exposition of the Bible. And this is Amos 8:5. And it says, saying, when will the new moon be gone that we may sell corn? All right, it says, the first day of every month on which it was forbid to sell anything or do any worldly business, being appointed and used for religious services. See 2 Kings 4:23, and I'll grab that really quick. All right, 2 Kings 4:23 in the King James Version reads, and he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, it shall be well. All right, and I'll probably go to that in a later. Matter of fact, let's get it. All right, so we're going to go to 2 Kings 4:3. All right, just for edification, we want to get the whole thing. All right, so this is 2 Kings 4:23. So I'll start up. All right. So this is 2 Kings 4, and I start at 16. And he said about this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, nay, my lord, thou man of God, do not lie unto thine handmaid. And the woman conceived and bare a son at that season that Elisha had said unto her, according to the time of life. And when the child was grown, it fell on a day that he went out to his father to reap to the reapers. And he said unto his father, my head, my head. And he said to a lad, carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon, and then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, all right, Yahweh Shai, and shut the door upon him, and went out. And she called unto her husband, and said, send me, I pray thee, one of the young men, and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of Yahweh Shai, and come again. Verse 23 reads, and he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, it shall be well. All right, and that's just showing you that the new moon and the Sabbath were treated the same. They were treated as solemn days, all right, where no work was to be done, all right, a day that was holy, okay? Now, going back to the John Gill's exposition of the Bible, all right, again, it says the first day of every month on which was forbid to sell anything or do any worldly business, being appointed and used for religious service, all right, see Kings 4:23, in which these carnal earthly minded men were weary of and wanted to have over, that they might be selling their grain and getting money, which they preferred to the worship of Yahweh Shai. All right, now the point has been met on that one. All right, so we're going to go back to Amos 8:4, and we'll read it again. I start at 5. And it says, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit. All right, so we understand that the new moon and the Sabbath are treated the same. All right, now our calendar was determined by the lunar cycle. All right, and I'm going to grab Ecclesiasticus 43, and I will jump down at verse 5. It says, great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment runneth hastily. He made the moon also to serve in her season, for a declaration of times, and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. All right, so the moon is the sign of feast. It's the declaration of times. All right, so we understand that the moon is determined to declare the times that the Lord has appointed. So our feast days, all right, our months are determined by the signs of the moon phase. Okay. Now this is Genesis chapter 1, and I'm going to jump down. All right, bear with me. All right. So this is Genesis 1, and got it. Verse 14 reads, and Yahweh Shai said, and the Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And the point is in 14 when it says for seasons and for days and for years. So if the Lord created the lights in the heaven, and we know the light to be the moon, all right, going back to Ecclesiasticus, the 43rd chapter, then our Sabbaths were determined by the moon. All right, the phase of the moon was what we used to determine the month. All right, in the scriptures you see the Lord, for instance, say 14 days from the month, the new month. 14 days later, all right, we would have what? Passover. How were they determining in the wilderness? How were they able to determine 14 days, the new moon or the new month? How were they able to determine days? All right, and when you actually understand the scriptures, our days started at even. All right, so that's the evening time. That's when our days started. It didn't start at 8 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning. It actually started at the evening of the days. So from evening to evening was a day. All right, so let me go back here because I had a article that briefly touches on it. I'm not going to cover the entire article. This is from Haaretz.com, which is a so-called Jew website. All right, and they go into an article, The Hebrew Calendar, a marvel of ancient astronomy and math. All right, and I'm going to just get the point. All right, so it says an ancient limestone calendar. All right, it says like most ancient peoples, at first the Jews followed a strictly lunar calendar. All right, our earliest record of this is a 10th century BCE calendar found in the Canaanite town of Gezer. All right, midway between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. All right, so I just want to grab that quickly. All right, I'm not going to go into this entire article. All right, because the scriptures have shed light on this subject through the precepts I was able to bring out through the Spirit. All right, but we understand that the signs and the times are determined by the moon. All right, by the phases of the moon. That's how we understand through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai when our days, when the new moons came in. All right. Now, I also wanted to touch on the fact that the new moon and the Sabbath, all right, are treated the same in how they are observed. All right, so no buying, no selling. All right, no servile work. All right, as a matter of fact, let's go to John Gill, his exposition of the Bible, and we're going to deal with Psalms 81 and 3. All right, and I'll go back and read it, and then we'll read a little bit of his exposition, and then I'll close it out. All right, so this is Psalms 81, and I just want to be as efficient as possible on this subject. All right, so this is Psalms 81 and 3, and it reads, blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of Yahweh Shai, the power of Jacob. All right, so we understand that this is a statute, all right, that we observe the new moon. All right, so let's go to John Gill's exposition of the Bible. And it reads, blow up the trumpet in the new moon. And it says, blow either in every new moon or first day of the month, all right, which shows you that the first day of the month and the new moon are synonymous, which was religiously observed by the Jews, or rather the new moon or first day of the seventh month, the month Tisri, which day was a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and so the Targum blow the trumpet in the month of Tisri. All right, so this just shows you that the new moon, all right, and the first day of the month are synonymous, and that is how we determined our solemn feast days, our days, our days, all right, our times, all right, our seasons. All of these things were determined by the moon. All right, we didn't have a Gregorian calendar in the wilderness. All right, our way of determining when certain events were to be held and observed was based on the new moon, which the Lord, going into Genesis, the first chapter, set up for signs, for years, for days. All right. And again, when you go into Ecclesiasticus, the 43rd chapter, all right, the month is called by her name, all right, which month goes back to moon. As a matter of fact, let's do this. I didn't plan on doing it, but let's go into the etymology of month, okay? So let's see here. Oh, excuse me. Let me grab month. All right. So this is month. All right. It says 1/12 part of a year, one of the 12 parts in which the calendar year is arbitrarily divided. All right, now we're going to jump down and focus on this. All right, so it says, and look at all of these different words that month goes back to. Menoth, all right, source also of Old Saxon Manath, Old Frisian Monath, Middle Dutch Manet, Dutch Mand, Old High German Manod, German Manat, Old Norse Manor, Gothic Menovs, month, which is related to Menon, moon. Originally, the month was the interval between one new moon and the next. All right, so this shows you, all right, just a little further edification. All right, but ultimately the scriptures have declared this first and foremost, that our days, the way we determined our days was according to the new moon. All right, which means that the Sabbath would fall on the seventh day from the new moon. All right, and that new moon would be treated as a Sabbath. All right, and then 7 days from that, the next Sabbath would be observed. All right, so I know that is completely different from the world that we've grown up in through the Spirit. All right, but this is how we have always determined our times, our seasons. All right, according to our heritage through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai Shai. All right, so this lesson was inspired by a brother who had a question on my comment board. So I just wanted to touch on this, all right, and be as thorough and as efficient, as time efficient as possible to touch this subject. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.